Hello folks, it's Key of W with more Artisan of Glimmith. That's the intro. Okay, so I'm over here in the inequality sector, also known as the United States of America. Just finished, well, I mean, I've not just finished, but I've silverized this gate, this window. This is the most recent one I silverized, so I'm pushing further ahead, putting more windows silver. So yeah, let's just do some puzzles here. If you know what that means, it's because you've played the game or watched. If you don't know what that means, then you're going to find out. This is where note taking is really nice. Huh. It's going to be interesting. Tip points to the smaller region. So I'm going to say, I'm going to be using letters, but they're not going to be in order. Like A, I'm just put A there because it seems like a pivotal spot, but A is not the largest nor the smallest region. All I know is that this has to be larger than A, and that's got to be larger than B. The trouble is A has also got to be larger than D, which has to be larger than E, which has to be larger than F, which has to be large. Okay, I see. I see how it is. So, yeah, it's just going to give us a single down here. G has got to be the single, and then we got to have a double. So E has to be at least 3. D has to be at least 4. And then A has to be at least 5. B has to be 6, and C has to be 7. So this could be part of B or C, I think. So the D has to be 4. E has to be 3. Well, E could be 4. And D could be 5. But that would really put some restrictions here. Actually, let me see how many spaces we got left. We got 4, 16. We got 20 spaces left. If this was a 3, that gives us 18 spaces left. If this is a 4, that gives us 16 spaces left. And if this is a 5... we're cutting 4 more out of that. It's 12 spaces. This is a 6. Now we have to take 5 spaces here. 7 spaces left. If this is a 7, we have to take... so yeah, that gives us 1 space extra. I get 1 more I can do. Oh, this also has to be larger than that. So if this is a 4, this has to be 3. Oh, I see. This actually has to be part of this 3. Because if it isn't, if this is a new region, it could also be a solo region. We could just make a single region here and make it work out. We'll find out. But I do have to do these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is the minimum this can go. Assuming this was complete, but it isn't. This has to fill in more space. In fact, the maximum we can have here still forces this out. That's forced out. And this has to be at least 6. 4, 5, 6, yeah. So when I do this now, this is the version that gives C space down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This has to come out. So the question is, what do we do here? If I do this, it all just works out really well, though, right? Yeah, sorry, that's it. That miscounted. That's gonna be 6. Oh, it does. Huh, I must have miscounted. I thought I had 1 space left over. I did not. Okay. If this has to be larger than this space here, right? I'm going to call it X. I'm going to go with X's now. X has to be larger than this space, which means X is greater than 1. So X has to be at least 2, right? Well, this space has to be larger than X. Y has to be bigger than X. Y has to be at least 2, right? It has to be at least 3. This has to be greater than this space here. This space, A has to be greater than B. A has to be at least 2, right? A's got to be at least 2 spaces, which means X has to be 3 and Y has to be 4. So that's that. Ah, dear. So now we have Z, which is going to be at least 5. Not sure where we go from there. And we have one that's bigger than that. So W is at least 6. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those are the minimums. A could be larger than 2. We don't know. Something's got to be larger than this. Now, if I move the W section up, I feel like I'm going to start running into trouble. Because I'm going to need to make a segment here. Just a huge, this has to be at least 7. And if that 7 were to go into this space, we need to make an 8. We're just not going to have enough space. Because the amount of space I have here, assuming that these are complete, I would need to add 2 more spaces here and 3 more spaces here. So we'd cut 5 spaces out of here. We have 15 left. A 7 and an 8 actually would work. This has to be 5. Hold on. Yeah, we actually are going to be forced to do that because now we actually, yeah, we're just being forced into it. So this has to be a 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then this 8 should be able to fill the rest of the thing. Actually, it wasn't that bad. I thought I'd have to do some serious mathing, but I did not. It looks like we've got quite a bit going on here. So we're going to say this is our smallest region, right? Which has got to be increased here. It's got to be bigger. This has to be bigger than that. This has to be bigger than that. And so on. We got 9 regions. They all got to be this. And yeah, that's just what we have to have. 9 regions. We got 36. Well, I happen to know that 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, etc., all the way to 9 is... Oh, hold on. That can't be right. That's is 45. So we can't fit that in. So something here has to be... Like if this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, that's 8. I can count. I thought this was 9 spaces. 1 plus up to 8 is 36. Oh my god. I counted this square for some reason. But yeah, if you add all the numbers, sequential numbers together up to 8, you get 36. So yeah, I have to make that. So it's going to be even easier to just say this is 1, 2, set. I can't do anything else. The reason I use letters instead of numbers to start is because you don't guarantee that the smallest is a 1. It could have been a 2 and then a 3 and then a 5 and then a 9 then a 13. You know what I mean? It's just once I put that in and I saw the size of the grid, then that's where we were. So the 1 is going to be easy. We don't have to worry about that. The 2 is going to be, I don't know where it's going to go, but there's that. This 3 has to go, well, the 3 actually has to it has to move out at least once because it can't go into this. It can go into the center only one space. The 4 now, this 4 has to take this space down here for sure. And it has to take this space. Because who could reach this space? If it's not the 3 and it's not the 4, it's none of these, and we're going to run out of space on the grid. So this has to take that space at least. Now 5. 5 also has to come out this far, minimum. It could take the space here, it could not. The 6 now. Well, I know it comes out there. That's as far as I'm going to say now. Hold on. I think we're going to get it forced because the 7 here is going to come out, which is going to force the 6 out. And the 6, even if it moves down, has to move up 2 spaces. Means the 7 move up means the 6 has to take this. The 5's take that. And now we actually have these set. So now the 7's got to take all of these. That's 7 spaces. And then 8 should take the remaining, and we're good. Nice. Well, this is kind of a gimme. This is a 4. Right? Because 4 is big. If we do 3 and then say this is 5, it's got to move over, and then it's got to be less than 5 and greater than 3. That's done. This is where things are tricky, because if I make this a 2, right, then the 2 would move over, and 2 would be greater than 3, which is not going to happen. So that's a 1. And then this is something else. So let's just start putting things in. So the 3 is going to go here, here, and here. We're going to put the 1 there. We're going to put a 4 here. It's going to come out. Now 5. How many spaces I got? I got 11 spaces left. Once I put a space from here, I'll have 10 spaces left. Once I do the other 4, I'll have 6 spaces left. I'll have 5 spaces left after this. I'll have 3 spaces. This is going to have to go here. This has to. No, that can't work because it's not bigger than 3. The 5 is going to have to go here. I was going to say somebody has to, it can't be a new thing because it would have to be at least 4. I'm not going to have 4 spaces. So I'm going to have to do this and then put another there. That's what I'm thinking. Ooh, a 7. Not touching it today, though. Okay. All regions have an area between 3 and 6, so we actually are going to know what this section is right here. This is going to be 3, this is going to be 4, this is going to be 5, and this is going to be 6. That's given to us. We have another 3, 4, 5, 6. Now here it can be 3 or 4. This can be 4 or 5. And this can be 5 or 6. We have some options. And then we don't know these. This is too ambiguous with the range thing going on. So let's start by filling in the ones I do know. I'm going to fill in the obvious 3s, the obvious 4s. We're going to do the obvious 5s. And we're going to do the obvious 6s. So how are we going to make this? This 4's got to come out. Is that all I get? This... We know this space can't be a 3 and this space can't be a 6, but this could be part of this 3. That's easy enough to do. Whatever this space is comes out. This will have to take the space to the left, right? No matter what it is, I think. Nah, if it's a 3... If it's a 3, you could take these 3 spaces. But I think what I'm saying is the 6 has to take that space, because if it doesn't take that space, there's just not enough room here. So 6 has to take that space. So we can take 4 and have 4 here. We can take 3 and have 4 and have the 6 come in, right? Oh, hold on a second. We got the non-boxy rule. That's it. So this 4 actually is set. The 4 is set here. So this... In order for whatever this is to work, it has to move left and up. And it's going to have to be a 4. This now is a 5, so I'll get rid of these here. Oh. It's going to be 4, 5, 6. So this is a 5 now. We've got to have that. 6. This can't be a boxy region. And so if there's a wall here, the 6 is ruins. The 6 actually has to take both of these two. Which means that the 6 can't take this spot. The reason the 6 can't take this spot is it'll have these 4. There's 3 left over here. We can't have it be a full unit because it has to be larger than something over here. So the 6 has to take every other spot. 5 has to take that spot. And then it can't take this one. It has to move out. That's the 5. The 6 now is going to move over. 5's over. Yeah, 6... maybe connects with this. Maybe there's 2 separate 6s. We don't know. 5 comes out. So now this 3. This 3, if it takes the spot to the left, we're screwed. Because now we can't fit anything up here. Because it can't be a new unit, because it has to be at least 3. And we can't fill it with both of these. So this is, in fact, the 3. So this could be anything but 3. We don't know what it is. Does this 5 connect to that one? Hard to say. This 3's got to be an elbow bend in some regard, but it could be anywhere. I'm not sure. What's here? This has to be at least 3. This has to be 3 or 4. So these two don't connect to each other, right? So whatever this unit is, it's at least a 3. But it can't be more than 5. It could be a 5. Let's say, oh, this is 5, but the trouble is not bigger than that region. This is 5, so this has to be 4 or 3, which means that this region can't connect to that one. This is a new region of at least 3. So the 6 is going to connect here. And it's got to go. That's how you finish the 6 off. 5's got to come down. But this 5 can't be part of whatever this region is, but we can't stop it here at 3 because it's boxy. We have to be non-boxy. So this is how we finish this section off. Let's make this be a little bit different color than the other ones. Yeah, there you go. It's a little bit easier to see that. This 5. I could move it over. I could move. Whatever the case, it's not a long line. So it could be here. In fact, is it not this square? If I say it's not in this square, yeah, I can do that. That's fine. All right, this 5 can't block the 4 in, obviously. It's got to be here. Is there any way this 5 doesn't touch this box? If the 5 doesn't touch that box, it also can't touch that one or that one because there's not enough room over here. It would have to. So yes, the 5 does indeed go down here. Is there any way the 5 doesn't touch that one? If so, we're blocked in. So the 5 does have to go to the left here. Now it's non-boxy. You don't have to worry about where it goes after that. Is there any way it doesn't touch that? Yes, the 4 could come down. Is there any way it doesn't touch that way? Yeah, we don't know. We don't know from there. Because it's possible 4 doesn't even touch this spot. Possible 4 doesn't touch that spot. If 4 doesn't touch this spot right here, this one, the 4 would have to go through here, and now there's only one more space for the 4 down here, and one more space for the 5. Yeah, the 4 has to touch this spot. Some way, somehow. And if it's only through here, we don't have enough space for everything, so the 4 has to come through there. Right? Yeah. If the 4 doesn't take this spot, or that spot, we don't have enough for the 5. If the 4 takes this spot down here without touching that spot, then we'd have to do that. That's fine. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure I don't get this wrong. We can easily go through this way as well, which means it has to take this spot. So yes, the 4 has to take these 3. And it can't take this one because now there's not enough room. So we have to just figure out which thing. It's going to be non-boxy. Okay, the 3, how much? We've got 8 spaces left. We need 2 of them from the 5, 2 of them from the 3, so that leaves 4 spaces. So I think I actually have the answer to this. We need to put a 4 here. This is where the 4 goes because we don't have a 4. The 4 needs to be non-boxy. Does need to take this corner. It's going to happen. This way should just solve the puzzle for me. We're good. How about this one? Palisades, not my favorite, but at least it's only one of them. So we have... this is a little bit interesting here. Because, like, if I put the wall... If I said this Palisade section was like this would be fine. Because now these two are the same unit. So whatever I put here just has to be more than 4. If I have them, say, as separate units... This has to be greater than whatever this is. This would work out because 3 and 4, this would just be a 5. Whatever the case is, this has to be at least 5. Which means it has to take at least these spots. I think I see it. I think I just see the answer. So we're still going to make this way. Because I need this section to be greater than 5. The only way to do that is with this 6 right here. So that gives me a few empty spots. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So I've got 25 spaces here, and I've got 4 pentominoes. So the pentominoes, if they're part of this inequality, only one side can have a pentomino. That's what we're saying here. I think it's going to happen. First of all, this W shape has to take these 3 spots. Now, if the W shape takes these, we have to have a 6 here. And that's going to break the puzzle, because if we add the pentominoes together, we have 20 spaces. We only have 5 spaces left. So the W pentomino has to be this way. That much is certain. Now, in this space, we can't put the Y pentomino up here. It's not going to work. So this spot here has to be its own domino, which makes this a single spot, giving us the Y there. And then it's totally fine to have our N shape here, and then we're going to put our L shape, and we actually have this puzzle solved. Nice. Just doing the easy ones to make this window silver. That's what we're doing. Okay. A lot going on in this one. So 5, how many spaces we have? 42 spaces. Okay. All right. Right away, I noticed something here. We've got to have, an x greater than y, right? But x has got to be duplicated over here, and y has got to be duplicated over here. So we know for sure that these are not going to go together. We're going to call it like another x over here. Actually, let's do different. Let's do AB, because they could be different shapes, different sizes than these. So shape that has to be here could be the same size as the A, but it can't be the A, right? Oh, hold on. We're gonna get some useful. I can just start right here with 1. Right? This is 1. Because that's a 2. What am I doing? Just start with the easy one. But that means over here we have to have a different shape. So we can't have a 1. So this is at least a 2. This is at this could be a 1. But we have to have something different here. This has to be smaller than 4. This can't be a 1. This could be a 1 here. Because these shapes can be whatever we want. But this is 4 or less in this spot. But it has to be a different shape than this one. I don't think that's going to be a huge constraint right here. Y is greater than 2. That's something we got to know. Y is above 2, which means this is greater than 2. This is greater than whatever is that. So minimum of 4, possibly connected to the 5. No, not connected to the 5, because the 5 has to be a different unit than this. And this is the same as that. So this, in fact, is a 4. Because if this is not a 4, let's say this can't be higher than 4, right? So if this is a 4, this is also a 4. If this was a 3, this would be a 3 as well, which would be greater, which means the y would have to be 2 at the very largest, and then it would not be greater than the 2 down here. So we do in fact know these now. This y is also set to be a straight line, which means this is a straight line, making this, another single. We can do that. Now the 4 here has to go up and around, which means this has to go up and around, which gives us the 5 like so. 2 is out. Now, this A can move to the left, or the B can move to the left, but not both. If A doesn't move to the left, though, it's a single space, which can't be larger than the B. So the B cannot move there. The A can move around here all we like. B could be a single space. No, it can't. It has to be different than this. So B is at least 2. Could be part of the 5. It could be part of the 5. Let's see. What shapes could we have here? If A can't be, A has to be more than 2. A has to be at least 3. Now, if it was just 3, we'd have this going on. That's not going to work, because this has to be at least 2. So A has to be at least 4, and it can't be a C shape. So A, in fact, is going to be, and we're going to have this go on, which means the B is, in fact, 5? No, B has to be 2, because it can't touch the 5 now. So now the 5, I see what's got to go on. The 5 can't touch this spot, because then how do we make something bigger? We don't have a lot of space left. We have 8 spaces left, and this adds to 7. So the only safe space is there to put the single. We put the 5 here, put another 2 there. And then we're missing something. Oh yeah, we're missing a single space right there. That was cool. I like that puzzle. What's here? Another 3. Let's do it. Between 3 and 5, mismatch. They all have different shapes. Okay. Well, let's start with the easy part. 3, 4, 5. That's given to us, and this is also a 5. These could be the same pentomino or different ones. Doesn't really matter. This is another inequality string or sequence. 3, 4, 5. This has to be 4 because we have to have bigger than that. This has to be 3. All right, so right away I think I have the 3 pieces done. The reason is we have to have the mismatch rule in addition to range. So there are only 2 ways to make a triomino. There's a straightaway and an elbow. So this piece right here needs to be part of an elbow because it can't be a straightaway. It's going to touch that, making a straightaway here. These are our 3s. So now this 4 is going to be a T-shape, and the reason it's going to be T-shape is that the only options are T and an L shape leaves an orphan space here, so we have to take that. Let's see, this 4 has to be an O shape. In fact, it's good to make an O shape down here anyway, because then where else we're going to put an O shape. This shape has to be at least 4, and it could be a 5 L shape, we're not sure. This 4 can't be a T, but it can't be an I, it can't be an O, so it's an S or an L. I don't know. Let's start with this 5 shape. This one right here is going to come out and out this way. You know what? I'm going to make a V shape here. I'm going to make a P shape there, and then I'm going to make the L shape here and another L shape here. We're good. What's this? Watchtower? No. Saving watchtowers for another time. How much? 2 more of these puzzles. I don't want to do the 5s and 4s right now. I want to touch the little guys. That doesn't sound right. Non-boxy inequality. Oh, I thought I had a loop going on here. Like, you can't do that. So, I don't know ranges, so I'm just going to say we have A here. This is actually the largest size. A is bigger than B, which is bigger than C, which is bigger than D. That's what I know. So A is at least 4. I also have to keep in mind in these 3x3 regions, I have to make... Is there any way I can make... Nah, I have to make only 2 regions in each. Think about it. Let's suppose I had 3 regions in here. Is there any way to make 3 regions where none of them are rectangular? And the answer to that is no. Because if I make 3 regions, every region smaller than size 3 is rectangular. A 1 region and a 2 region are going to be rectangular, so I'd have to make 3 3s. So I couldn't make any of them straightaways. I have to fit 3 elbow pieces in, and there's no way to do that. Therefore, every one of these is divided into 2 regions. This one has at least 4. It could be 5, it could even be 6, but it can't be greater than 6. So range-wise, I can say A is 4 to 6. B is... just writing it down so you're not seeing what's going on in my head, right? Like we're taking this... And you'll see pretty quickly what this means. It looks like A has to be 6. And the reason is D can't be 1 or 2. Because then it would be rectangular. So if D is 3, we have to go 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm even going to put that in. This is a 6, 5, 4, and 3. This 6 is going to touch this space here, I think. Yes. The reason is the 6 has to be on one of these 2 sides. Same with this thing, the 4 has to be on one of those because you only have 2 regions in these boxes and there have to be separate regions here. So if the 6 came down, then what's bigger than 6 that will fit in this box? 7 and 3 makes 10, so it's just not going to work. So 6 has to come to this side, which means it's going to come that way. So our 3 piece is going to be right there, and 6 is going to take these. So that means we just have to make something bigger than a 3 here, which is fine. This 3, there we go. So 3, 6 as well. So now we got 4. So we have to have 4 and a 5. The 4 is going to touch... I think the 4 is going to go straight up. The reason is otherwise this is a 5. Oh, is that right? No, it might not. I have to make 5 plus 4. So no, this has to be 4. Yeah. This can't be part of the 5, right? Yeah, it's just mathing. If there's 4 here, there's 5 left over. If the 4 moves up here, this would have to be a 3, which would be a problem because we'd have 8. So yeah, this is 4, this is 5. So yeah, they do block. So the 5 being non-boxy is be like that. Then this 5 will be a P shape. And we'll have an L shape. And that'll be that. That's a cool puzzle. I like doing this kind of stuff. It's just doing math. That's really what it is. But it's, you know, it's not like advanced math. It's the type of math that I actually learned. So we'll go with that. Mismatch inequality. Excellent. Okay, all I know is they're different shapes. All I know is this is greater than 1. This is greater than 1. I know that with the mismatch, you get 1 solo piece, 1 domino. So I do have to be careful with those. Here's a nice little sequence where we have, ooh, hold on, our biggest numbers here, A, B, C, D, E. So minimum of 5, 1, 2, oh, they can't touch that one though. This is minimum of 3, 5, 4, 3. Ah, that's actually just going to give us that. It is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's why. This is 8 spaces in here. And so if I made this larger than 5, what do we do? This can't be smaller than 3. So yeah, 3 and 5 is the only way. So we have an L shape down here. I think it's a little bit lighter. We have an elbow shape there. That is our starting position. So the solo piece here is done. This is a domino. Can't move up because we make another solo piece. That's that. This has to be a 4. The reason it can't be a 3, there's only one more triomino left. It's the straightaway, which would leave me a space there. So we have to have a 4, and the 4 is going to have to be a T shape. So this is a 4, this is the I shape. So now this 4 can't be an I and it can't be a T. It's not going to be an O because it won't fit there. This has to be a 3. Hold on. Yeah, because that's a 4, that's a 3. So we have no more 3s available to us. Every piece we make has to be a 4 or greater. We have 13 pieces in here, so if the 4 were to bend down here, we can't. We can't make this a 3. So this actually has to be a 4 right here. The reason it isn't bigger than that. If this is a 5, well then this has to be at least 6. Now 4 plus 6 plus 5 is greater than 13. So this has to be a 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. Make that a 5. So we're going to have an L shape down here. Then this one's got to be an S shape. And then the 5 is just a W and we're good. Nice! And there it is. I just got the new achievement. Silver Age. Turn 20 windows silver. That is what we're talking about. And with that success, I'm going to stop here. And we're going to come back with another video. So I will see you then. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you're all having a great day. Bye!